Here's the harsh truth. The wealth class doesn't work for money. They use the system to print it. And no, that's not a metaphor. The rich have learned how to legally create money through debt and assets, while the rest of us are stuck trading hours for paychecks. Let's break it down. Most people are taught to work, save, and spend responsibly. You make money, pay taxes, and whatever's left, you save it in a bank that gives you 2% interest while inflation eats 5%. You think you're being smart, but in reality, you're feeding a system designed to make your money lose value over time. The wealthy don't play that game. They borrow. But not the way most people do. They borrow to buy assets, things that make more money. Here's how it works. A wealthy investor walks into a bank and borrows a few $1,000,000 at, say, 4% interest. They use that money to buy real estate, stocks, or part of a business. Those assets start generating cash flow or rising in value. The interest they pay on that loan, it's tax deductible. The gains, often taxed at much lower rates or deferred completely. Meanwhile, someone in the middle class gets a raise, moves into a higher tax bracket, and loses more to the government. That's the trap. You're told to work harder, but the harder you work, the more you're taxed. Here's where it gets crazy. The wealthy don't just borrow to invest, they borrow to live. Instead of selling assets and paying capital gains tax, they take out loans against their growing wealth. That money isn't income, so it's not taxed. They use borrowed money to buy cars, homes, and fund their lifestyle, all while their assets quietly grow in the background. It's called the buy, borrow, die strategy. They buy appreciating assets, borrow against them for cash, and when they die, their heirs inherit those assets with a fresh cost basis, meaning all that old taxable gain disappears. The family wealth resets, tax-free. Meanwhile, you work for income that gets taxed at the highest rate, spend what's left on inflated prices, and maybe save what little remains, in a currency that loses value every year. The system rewards owners and punishes earners. That's not cynicism, that's structure. So what's the lesson here? Stop trying to save your way to wealth. It doesn't work anymore. Inflation outpaces savings every time. Start thinking like an investor, even on a small scale. Own things that appreciate or produce income. Learn how to use leverage responsibly. Build systems that earn while you sleep, instead of trading more time for taxed income. Because the truth is, the wealthy never stopped working. They just stopped working for money. If this opened your eyes, hit subscribe and share your thoughts below. The moment you start understanding how money really moves, you stop being a player in the system and start becoming the system.